First of all, I would like to begin by thanking the president of the Holocaust Museum, Marcelo Mindlin, for inviting me to say a few words on this date that is close to our hearts. I consider it an honor. I would like to thank all those who have just shared this ceremony with me, and also greet all those present here. As you all know, and most of you will have experienced it firsthand, it is tradition in Jewish weddings for the groom to break a glass cup under his foot. By stepping on the cup, the two destructions of the Holy Temple of Jerusalem are remembered, the first 2,600 years ago at the hands of the Babylonians, the second 600 years later as a result of the oppression of the Roman yoke. In the context of a wedding, one of the great joys in a person's life, the protagonists and the guests remember a tragic event in their history, the destruction of their city and the house of God, the symbol of their people, at the hands of invading barbarism. It is frankly a moving image. Having gone through so much pain, they choose to remember it at the time when the beginning of a new Jewish family is celebrated. On the rubble, on the ruins, on what has been destroyed, a testimony of strength and hope is built again. This tradition expresses what I consider one of the most admirable qualities of the Jewish community: resilience. The ability to face adversity, to resist oppression, to regain strength and to flourish again. Today we commemorate the memory of the victims of the Holocaust, one of the greatest atrocities ever recorded against the Jewish people and against all humanity. An atrocity with survivors who are among us today, who, after enduring segregation, discrimination and even the horror of concentration camps, came to Argentina seeking to rebuild their lives far from persecution and pain. Today, in addition to honoring the victims who are no longer here, we are fortunate to be able to listen to the survivors we host in our country, who are a testimony of strength and hope. Their life stories are examples and dictate to us the moral imperative to keep the memory alive and to ensure that atrocities like these are never repeated again. Argentina, for a long time, was a refuge and a place of destination for all the persecuted peoples of the world. In the second half of the 19th century and the first half of the 20th century, when in different parts of Europe and the world people were punished by hunger, instability and oppression, hundreds of thousands looked across the ocean and dreamed of a life in Argentina. They knew that on the other side of the Atlantic awaited them a country tolerant of diversity, thriving and full of opportunities. A country with open doors that had already welcomed millions of immigrants of different origins, escaping injustice and persecution, and seeking for themselves the promise of a prosperous future. They knew that on the other side of the Atlantic awaited them a place to start over. That was Argentina for a long time, and we are enriched by that diversity. Each people contributed their qualities, their virtues, their ability and their talent, and the result was a synergy that for decades enriched all Argentines. The Argentine Jewish community was and is one of the protagonists of this process, and today we are honored that Argentina has the largest Jewish community in Latin America and among the 10 largest in the world. This new government has the vocation of turning Argentina into a free and thriving country again, a country that is once again seen with hope and admiration, a country that is once again a place of destination, that can once again welcome those who flee from the yoke of oppression and only seek peace and the possibility of prospering, as it did with the Jewish people. In addition to being important for me, because it is my first participation as president, the Day of Remembrance of the Victims of the Holocaust has a meaning of special relevance this year for the Argentine Jewish community, the global Jewish community, and for the entire free world. The Holocaust and the Nazis are not a thing of the past. The aberrant acts of violence that occurred in Israel on October 7th are atrocious and unforgivable. Not since the Holocaust has there been such a coordinated mass murder of so many Jews on the same day. In a global context of the resurgence of anti-Semitism, we must be firm in our position of intransigence with terrorism and not look the other way. During the first years of the Holocaust, many countries in the free world turned their backs on the Jewish people. The world's powers stood by as the Nazis enacted anti-Semitic and segregationist laws and began populating concentration camps. They even closed their doors to exiled Jews who had to choose between exile or torture. Today, many countries in the free world regret that attitude of silence in the face of Nazi atrocities. In order for history not to repeat itself, we, who defend freedom, have the obligation to ensure that this does not happen again. However, many countries repeat the same silence, a silence that stuns. Argentina does not remain silent in the face of Hamas terror and demands the immediate release of all kidnapped civilians, including our 11 compatriots. In my mandate, I commit to continue working with the organizations of the Argentine Jewish community to achieve a society that is more respectful of cultural and religious diversity. I also commit to strengthening our diplomatic, commercial and friendship ties with the State of Israel. In fact, in the coming weeks I will be traveling to the Holy Land, where a new chapter in the fraternity between our two nations will be marked. And also, in the framework of the 30th anniversary of the attack on the AMIA, I commit to continue working to support justice and put an end to the impunity surrounding this aberrant crime and the tragedy of the attack on the Israeli embassy. On this day of commemoration and memory, we honor the surviving victims of the Shoah and reaffirm our commitment to defending freedom and rejecting anti-Semitism. This museum is not about the past. Thanks to this museum and this event, we build the present and project a future of hope. Shalom and freedom. Thank you very much.